So this video is going to apply to anyone who is neurodivergent, aka autistic, or if you just feel like you've always been the person that's kind of like singled out, left out, looked over, you kind of never really fit in, this is a quick little message for you. I started to realize at a very young age that I didn't fit in with my peers. I also did not have the same interest as them, but I learned how to mask very early on. I kind of knew what was acceptable and not acceptable in society at a very young age. So because of that, I kind of like forced myself to be around certain peoples or do certain things so that I would fit in and I kind of wouldn't be like the oddball. But even with me doing all of that, I still never fit in, right? And at least from my own experience, growing up in the 90s, early 2000s, anytime you didn't kind of do what everyone else was doing, you was always singled out. You was the oddball, the weirdo, the loser, like you basically had to be one of the popular kids, aka a rich kid, to kind of fit in a certain group. And if you didn't fit in that group, then you were singled out and looked at differently. But let me tell you how that actually is a blessing in disguise. And I honestly feel like it allowed me to prosper in a way that had I would have been more popular, had I would have fit in the crowd at an early age, maybe that attention or just me being able to fit in would have actually did me a disservice, because it would have never allowed me to fully embrace who I am. I would have just kind of went along with everybody else, right? But because I knew I was so different, because I have been searching on this healing journey, more so just trying to get insight as to who am I? Who is Monica? It comes with a lot of questions, and it's a beautiful thing to be hidden in plain sight. Because the one that they always overlook, that's the one that always ends up on top. And I don't mean this always like trying to down anybody, but think about it. The one who's always the oddball, the one who's always like the weirdo. And even when people would try to make it, like, you would get talked about back then if you was too smart. If you was in your books and you're doing your homework, oh, they was the nerd. But how many times have we heard the nerd grow up to be the CEO? The nerd is the one who grew up to start a company or invent something. You know what I mean? Like, the people that were always singled out were actually the special people from the beginning, but they were hidden in plain sight. Oftentimes when I think about being hidden in plain sight, it makes me think back to Jesus when he was here on earth, and how, he was hidden in plain sight until the appointed time. What I mean by that is he was not like this super attractive man who had like muscles and, like nice facial features. And I'm not saying that he's ugly, but it says in the Bible itself, I will insert the scripture. It says how he was not very easy on the eyes. He was hidden in plain sight. Basically, what I'm taking from that is God did not want certain attention on him for the wrong reasons. God hid him until it was time for him to use his voice. And when he talked, he was able to reach thousands and millions. You know what I mean? Like, it was not about his looks. It had nothing to do with anything physical, right? He was hidden, and it was the one they least expect. Now, yes, we knew in scripture that Jesus was coming, but before he was born, no one knew who Jesus was. You know what I mean? Maybe some people thought like he was going to come out like royalty. You know what I mean? Like, this is the Messiah, the Son of God. Like, he'll be dripped in diamonds and gold and stuff like that. Like, I'm just thinking like what people would think like at that time. But what I'm saying is, ultimately, he was born poor. He was born in a manger. He was not born in luxury. His parents were not millionaires. He was not walking on marble floors. He was not crawling on marble floors. He was not decked out in Nike tech from head to toe. Like, that's not how Jesus came about. That was not how his life was on earth. He actually was very poor. He was, I'm not going to say struggling, but from what people would assume his life would have been like, it was not like that. He was hidden in plain sight. And the appointed time, when God told him, now's the time, he was able to handle his purpose. To think back to, Jesus anytime I'm referencing myself, because I know that I was not born with a silver spoon. Like, me and him have a lot of similarities in terms of how we grew up, how we were the eyeball, how, we just did not fit in. And God isolates us for a lot of reasons. There's a lot of reasons why the closer you get to God, the more alone you are, because you cannot be connected to anybody. And I'm just talking about like energetically, spiritually. Do you not know that people will put on a mask and they will try to get very close to you? And what I've noticed is the ones who they always try to say like, oh, they're the oddball, they're the weirdo. There's something about them, and I'm not only speaking for myself, but from what I observe from other people as well. There's a light on them where it's like it's unexplainable, because you look at them in one sense and like they're boring, they're corny, they're a nerd, they're this, they're that, all these negative traits, right? But it's still on the same time, it's something that's catching your attention. It's something that you have to keep watching. It's like intriguing. They're interesting, right? They're interesting on one hand, but you can't really figure them out, and it's like they're weird at the same time. But there's curiosity in that person, and the more curiosity, the more people are going to try to attach themselves to you. And also, when they're doing this, they're not trying to attach themselves to you because they see the value and they see that you're a good person. They see that, God is with you. No, they're doing that because it's like, well, if you have X, Y, and Z, if you have some type of attraction to you, a light to you, some type of aura to you, how can I get it for myself? That's what it boils down to. They're trying to come in your energy, come near you to steal from you. And it'll be the same people who will make you out to be like a nobody, but will sit and watch you. That will try to make you out to be a nobody, but sit and downplay you, versus just actually giving credit where credit is due. Acknowledging people for their strengths, inspiration, whatever the case may be, and actually be encouraging. But people are so selfish and self-centered, it's just like crabs in a bucket mentality, so like, if I can't do this, you can't either. And if you have something, I want to figure out how to take it. It's a very weird thing to deal with, but I honestly feel like that's the reality when you are looked at as like different or special, or you didn't fit in your younger years. It might have drove you crazy because you're trying to figure out, why am I so different? Why do people treat me so different? But the older you get, the more you're going to realize this is actually a blessing. I was really being protected, and had I would have had the people that I thought I needed, I wouldn't be in the position that I'm in now. You don't need anyone that God took from you. If God wanted you to be any different, you would have been different. And 9 times out of 10, the people that you wanted to be like or fit in around when you were younger, those people have grown up to be probably not on the same level as you. I'm gonna just keep it like that. Like, everybody has their own paths, but I feel like you have to embrace your own identity, because you only get one body. You know what I mean? Like, we only get ourselves, and whatever you were born with, whether it's mental illness, physical disabilities, whatever your thing is, and I don't want to say issue, but whatever your thing is, God made you perfect the way he made you. And I also want to say there are some disabilities, that God does not cure. And I'm saying that because we're talking about autism, the not fitting in and stuff like that. And I can honestly say that I've dealt with this all my life. Obviously, if you have autism, you're born with it. I did not understand a lot of things until my later years. But what I will tell you, no matter how much I pray, no matter how close I am to God, that does not change the anatomy of my body. That does not change my DNA. It does not change my brain cells. And the best thing I can say is, when you have a disability, God has the power to change it, but he may allow you to, this is your life. He may allow that to happen over the course of your life. But what I will tell you is, there's always medication and treatment, and medication doesn't always have to be pharmaceutical. So if God gives you something in your life where you feel like it's a hurdle, there's always going to be a solution to help you get over it. And embrace yourself. You only get one you.